Yo, what is up guys? It is Samool back again with another Epic 7 Shujuku video for you guys. And today we're going to be talking about two Guilty Gear units that have just released a couple hours ago of this video's release. And it is going to be about Jacko, which is a completely new Guilty Gear unit that just came out this event. And also we have Elphelt, who just returned alongside Jacko. Dizzy and Baiken came out last week, and if you guys are curious about those two, then I really recommend checking out my last Shujuku video where I talk about both Dizzy and Baiken if you guys should be pulling for them and buying their artifact. That being said, before we get started with the video guys, if you guys aren't already subscribed to my channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button to get instant updates when Shujuku videos like this come out, as well as my other videos that talk about guides and like tier lists and stuff like that, all the things that you guys want, and even some hero reviews for some units that are running in the current time period. That being said, let's get into the video. So first, let's just talk about what Jacko does, because she is a completely new unit. She is a fire warrior. Her S3 is an attack buff before she attacks a single target with a single target attack, and if the enemy dies, you get an extra turn. This will also penetrate the target's defense by 50%, and when the target has a debuff, damage dealt increases. So basically this is a single target nuke. You get an attack buff, so it makes it so that she doesn't rely on attack buff, and also she has a defense penetration, which makes it so that she can, you know, bust through some tanks, right? Her S2 is going to be a passive, so at the start of battle you get Chain of Chiron to the ally in the back row for 2 turns, and whenever an ally attacks when the target is stunned, you're going to get a CR push for all your allies by 20%. This is pretty crazy, because when you look at what Chain of Chiron does, it's going to be that you have a chance to stun the target for 1 turn, and this works on AoE. Keep in mind that this effect can only be activated every 3 turns, and it says this effect is activated after all the attacker's effects have occurred, which means, say you have a Dizzy on Abyssal Crown, then Dizzy's S1 and then the Abyssal Crown will have the chance to stun, and then you have the Chain of Chiron chance to proc as well. It's not going to be all together. Same thing with like Politis S2. So this is going to make a lot of units very strong that you wouldn't have seen before. I think like Politis is going to be crazy on defense teams now with Jacko. Dizzy might even be coming back in the meta, which is kind of funny because she kind of fell out of the meta, and now she's running alongside Jacko in the current banners. So maybe they have some sick synergy. A Solitary of Snow, just basically anything with AoE, right? You can also give it to like Rem, Bellion, right? It's like just pretty crazy, and it's just going to be super, super annoying to deal with. I think slow units that have like a counter attack, especially like Rem and Bellion, who can also counter when your allies get attacked, are going to be very, very, very strong with Jacko's S2. Next we have our S1. So it's a single target attack that just has a chance to stun, and when you attack on the caster's turn, if the target is debuffed, you can activate Dust Attack. Now Dust Attack is going to be a single target attack again, which will do extra damage, and you'll also get a Stealth, which will make her a lot more harder to, you know, take down. So if you soul burn this for only 10 turns, you have a 100% chance to stun, similar to Peyra, so you can become like a very annoying CC bot. So yeah, overall I think this unit is going to be pretty strong. I think she's definitely by far the best Guilty Gear unit for PvP. I don't think she'll be used in PvE at all, but for PvP she's going to be very, very strong in my opinion. I think her S3 is just crazy, the fact that you have so much damage built in, while having a buff from her S2 to make another ally super strong. You also have CR pushing, while also having some decent control potential with her stuns. Her 100% chance is only 10 souls, and also you get stealth, which will make her very annoying to take down. Also, she's a warrior, so she will be a lot tankier than a lot of other control units, which are usually like mages or like rangers. So I think this is going to be a very, very strong PvP unit. I definitely think that this unit out of every single one is the most worth pulling for, because in the current meta she looks very strong, and I think as a PvP unit she's going to be extremely annoying to deal with and will be a very popular pick. Now let's talk about her artifact, Jacko's Symbol. So you guys are probably thinking she's a warrior, you're going to run her on Draco Plate and stuff like that, which is true. You can also run her on like Sigurd Scythe, I guess. But keep in mind that she's mostly a control unit, so you're mostly going to run her on either like Mui's artifact, right, which will give you effectiveness, or her own artifact, Jacko's Symbol, which will give effectiveness to all her allies. And if you have a debuff on the target that you're attacking, you're going to do extra damage, which is really nice with her S3, right? And the effectiveness is nice because, say you're running like a Bellion or a Rem as your user of your buff that you give them, the Chain of Chiron from your S2, they mostly don't have a lot of effectiveness built into their kit, right? So what you actually want is effectiveness on them from this artifact, so it'll actually up the chance that they stun. So that's why I think this artifact is really good. Also, this will apply to yourself, so you have an extra chance to stun, and the extra damage from the single attack is very good. So I think this will be Jacko's best artifact, or one of the best artifacts on her. It's hard to tell without testing her because I haven't even pulled for her yet, which I probably will do in another video. But yeah, I think this artifact's definitely worth pulling for if you do plan to use Jacko. So yeah, I think both of these units and the artifact are very, very good. Next, we have Elphelt. So Elphelt, I think, is a very underrated unit. So let's talk about what Elphelt does real quick in case you don't know. Basically, your S3 is a 2 buff strip, and then it'll be a 100% chance to put them to sleep, and then decrease defense. Also, you'll get an extra turn, and you can soul burn this to ignore effect resist, so you can never get resisted if you bring a book holder with her, like Challenger Dominion or another unit, right? Her S2 is going to be a single target attack that will give attack buff to everyone, and when the target is asleep, which will always be asleep if you soul burn your S3, then you will decrease defense of all the enemies. This does a lot of damage. Usually when you S3 and S2, you're going to one-shot someone. Then her S1 is going to be a single target attack, which makes an enemy unbuffable for 1 turn, which you won't really use her much for. You're mostly going to use her as an opener with S3, S2. And yeah, as you can see, she's like an AoE defense breaker with a strip. She's going to be very, very good in cleave teams. The most common area where she's used is like Bazaar, Elphelt, plus Challenger Dominion, and then plus like an AoE damage dealer, right? Very, very strong. I think she's a good cleaver. She's just not that good in World Arena because cleave is hard to set up in the what's it called? Cleave is hard to set up because you can just ban one unit and it's hard to actually cleave. Nowadays, you need to use like specific units like Summertime Hysteria and like Ran and Peyra because they have a lot more usages out of cleave, even if your cleave units get banned. So Elphelt is harder to use, but she's still very good. For PvE, she's very good in Katie's Hunt. She is very good in one-shot comps. I think she's a very strong unit for there. But yeah, outside of that, not that great. So is she worth pulling for? I think, even though I said she's underrated, I think she is the worst out of the all the 4 collab units. So I think she should be your last priority. I think you should go Jacko and then like Dizzy and Baiken together in the same tier, and then Elphelt in that priority. And also for Elphelt's artifact, which is Miss Confile, this artifact is super good. So on Rangers, it will basically make it so on any single target attack, you have a chance to defense break, and if you can somehow max this, it's a 60% chance. This artifact makes Cerise super strong in PvE and PvP, makes her really strong, like crazy strong. So you really want to make sure you could buy at least 1 copy no matter what with powder. You don't have to really chase for a maxed copy at plus 30, although it's very good. Just make sure you have 1 so that you can put it on your Cerise or whatever ranger unit that comes out in the future that can use it as well. But at the moment, Cerise is the best unit, and Cerise is a pretty decent PvP and very good PvE unit right now, so you really want to make sure you buy this. So that's pretty much it for Jacko and Elphelt. Just to sum up, guys, I think Jacko definitely must buy or must pull her artifacts very decent as well for herself. I think Elphelt is the least of the priority, least of your priorities for the collab units, although she is good in cleave and good in Katie's. But Miss Confile you definitely want to buy. I think for Dizzy and Baiken, I did have another video on them, but they're both very strong units for PvE. Very worth pulling for as well. Basically pull everything, right? And Elphelt's like the last priority in my opinion. But yeah, I hope this video helped you out, guys. If you guys want to see more should you pull videos in the future, make sure you guys leave a like and show some love in the comments for the algorithm, and I'll be back with another video soon. Peace.